Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Dwidge back again with another video. This is another day in my life of me documenting my business, building it up to $2 million for the year. And yeah, let's not waste any time. In this video, we'll talk about performance, honestly, this week, kind of goals in a way, I guess, and go into rev check, and I'll let y'all go about your day. Before I get started though, I do want to tell you guys that we have the free Discord link in the description. Tap in. You know, it's a place for like-minded individuals. Connect with me as well. I got resources. I got my suppliers in chat. I'm going to be dropping weekly videos, hopefully, in there. You know, different sauce y'all need, and as well as give you guys weekly calls. You know, we'll start trying to do them every Saturday or Sunday. Y'all can come ask questions. You can actually talk in the chat if y'all want to, or type questions in the chat, whatever you guys choose to do. And you know, just a place or community for y'all to, you know, network for, again, like-minded individuals and shit like that. So anyways, let's get into the rest of the video. Performance. So let's talk about performance. Let's mostly focus on the first store, or no, what am I saying? Let's focus on the second store, the health store. The health store, guys, I'm not gonna lie, might be picking up some traction right now. And let's talk about it. So currently, the last 4 or 5 days now, like I've been telling you guys, we have this one VSL that we launched a couple of days ago. 4-minute VSL, you know, AI creator, whatever. Yeah, it's basically an iteration of a persona that we knew that worked from testing a bunch of other UGC ads. You know, we came up with this cool concept, or I came up with this cool concept. And again, it's a 4-minute VSL. It has 5 sales right now at a healthy, you know, ROAS, so like a 2-sum, pretty profitable for us. So what I went ahead and did was dupe that shit, threw it into a CBO, $100 a day, and we're gonna see how that bad boy does. You know, me personally, when I see things doing fairly decent, usually, honestly, when I'm first testing out things, if something gets 5 sales in a, you know, obviously the minimum for me is like 3 days minimum, has been performing good for 3 days. 5 sales, 3 days, hitting our KPIs of, you know, 2 barrels for us is honestly very, very good. And yeah, it hit those KPIs, do it inside that CBO, $100 a day. And today it got a sale. I don't necessarily look for performance on the first day on that scaling campaign, so I'm not too, you know, stressed about it. I'm happy that it got a sale today. Hopefully the next 3 days it does a lot better. And yeah, that's kind of how things are moving. We have this one creative that hopefully can be a winner for us, or at least give us enough scale to hit like this, like $200 a day or some shit. I don't know, just decent amount of scale where we have, you know, some room to get more data. And you know what that means as well, when you have a quote-unquote winning ad, an ad that's doing better than all the other ones, that means clearly that angle's working. That means that persona's working. That means, okay, let's build off some iterations. Obviously my rule is I like to do 80% new ads and 20% iterations. So this weekend I'm going to come up with some iterations that we're going to look to implement with this ad. So iterations, what I mean by that is it can be, you know, a different hook. If your hook rate is ass, it can be making the video shorter. Like it's a 4-minute VSL, so it's pretty natural for that type of ad structure. So a 4-minute video to kind of have a bunch of fluff in it. So sometimes you can even, you know, trim it a bit and make it more effective and have a longer hold rate. Our hold rate right now is like 10 to like 12%. We honestly want the hold rate to be a lot better. We want it to be around 20-30%, even longer. We want obviously people to watch the video as long as possible. Right now people are, you know, clicking on our ad, even though the point or the percentage of the video that they're watching for the most part on average isn't a long period of time, you know, but they're still clicking on the ad because, you know, it's calling out their whatever, their desire or whatever. But if we can make it that we introduce the product very early on while still having the same appeal that we had, you know, building the desire up and kind of shifting their belief, I believe the ad would perform a lot better. So that's kind of why I'm thinking about making an iteration, making it a bit shorter, not that much shorter, just cutting out anything that doesn't need to be there. Like sometimes when you're explaining shit, you know, you're using a lot of words sometimes for no reason. So we're gonna try to slim it down a bit. in terms of an iteration. We are also going to try to do an iteration of, again, it was an AI creator. We're going to look to maybe even fuck around and implement, if this continues to do well, there's going to be a later, iteration. But get a real editor, not editor, what the fuck? Get a real person to actually be, speaking the script. We'll hire one on Upwork or some shit, or Twitter, wherever the heck we can find a good person that fits our demographic of somebody that's like 51 plus. And we'll just literally tell them, yo, read the script. And then they read the script, and I guarantee you the ads are going to perform a lot better due to the fact that it's a real person actually speaking. Well, to be honest, the AI creator was pretty realistic. Like, you can't really tell because we're throwing B-roll in there here and there, but that's kind of another iteration we can do. We can also do an iteration as well as changing the persona as a whole. There's a lot of people that are having this problem. We are talking to a specific persona in our ads, but there is a bunch of other personas that we can target nevertheless with the same problem, and I guarantee you it will likely perform well as well, because again, it's the same problem, just changing it to a different persona. And I can go on and on. There's a bunch of iterations that we can make on this ad that we found, but those are just a few just to name some that I'm thinking of on the top of my head. I have a whole list of shit that we can do, and obviously we're not trying to get stuck on iteration. We're not trying to focus solely on iteration, so I'm not making that the main focus right now. We're just trying to understand why this is winning as well, and once we understand why this shit is winning, we are going to essentially use the aspects like the desire that's working, the persona that's working. We are going to throw that onto a Figma board. That's what I've been starting to do as well now, and just break down every aspect of the ad, dissect it. What is the hook? Why are people liking this ad? Prior to when I was running the jewelry store, I wouldn't necessarily do stuff like that. I would just go about just running the ad, how it is, and just go about just making pointless iterations without understanding what the actual reason why the ad is performing. For us specifically, this ad is performing because we have a strong desire we're targeting. The persona is damn near spot on. We have a good advertorial that's talking to this persona, so now we're understanding, okay, this is why this shit is actually working. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is stack all the things that are working and throw it into another persona, or just make the whole ad better. And your whole goal at this point when you are creative testing is just to only use aspects of aspects that that's working. If this persona is working, cool. There's different desires you can target. With this product, there's about 5 main ones that we can target. We're only honestly scratching the surface right now, and yeah, I'm pretty excited honestly. And as you can see, it's all about, again, I have to say this, I have to reiterate this a lot, it's all about doing, let me rephrase that, it's all about stacking what's working and just continuously iterating off that, while also implementing new things. Like, we can implement different, again, concepts while still using the core principle of why the shit is performing well, if that makes sense. We can say, okay, this persona is 50 years old, okay, what other, start thinking about it that way. Ask ChatGPT if you don't know, ask ChatGPT what other concept can I come up with, and we could even literally just change up the story, and it's basically a new ad. Like, the story that we have, to be honest, that's damn near a new ad at that point. So it's like, there's so many aspects that we could go in. So that's why it's important when you find a new ad to not just let it rip and start testing a bunch of new shit. Also focus on, again, the 80-20 rule. Put 20 of your focus on these iterations that are easy wins, bro. You already know this shit's working. If you find a better hook, I promise you this shit's gonna perform better. If you find a better hold rate and you're able to hook people longer into the video, it's gonna perform better. If you're able to find a stronger persona, I promise you it's gonna do better. Again, use what's working, and that's the whole philosophy of kind of what dropshipping is at this point. Like, it's about just keeping it simple. Once you find things that are working, again, iterate off it. Don't, take your foot off the gas and keep working and keep doing what you gotta do. And that's kind of, what I'm working on right now. And as well as, we also need to also test, enough of that creative stuff, we also need to test, I hope this made sense, by the way. I don't know, I'm really tired today, so let me know if this made sense. And as well as, we need to also test offers. Reason being, we're trying to anchor or do a price anchoring and force these people to take the bundle. Lately, there's like a $20 discrepancy between the standard price, which is just 1 unit, and the bundle that's like 5 units. And obviously that's the better offer. You're getting more for your buck, and the cost per unit is a lot cheaper. But a lot of people, and it's mostly the UK, honestly, are deciding to take the cheaper option. Maybe they just want one, but obviously this is a product that genuinely you need more than one if you have multiple. Woo. I'm not gonna say what it is, I almost did, but you know, there's something that you would need multiple of. So that's why we're trying to, you know, hone in on that offer, and we're going to try split testing it on a different landing page. I did that yesterday. I threw it inside that also scaling CBO. We have the main thing that is working. You know, you see, again, I just said, you just keep what's working and don't try to, you know, fuck it up for the most part. Again, we knew that this landing page's advertorial is working. Okay, let's dupe the winning creative with the winning advertorial, and we'll dupe it again, have another ad group, but we have a different offer on it. We don't want to fuck up the offer because we know it's working right now, but we can always find a better offer. That's the thing. You know, you might have something that's working right now, but you don't want to fuck it up. You don't want to turn off the ad because you say, oh, I could find a better ad. You want to keep the ad running. You don't want to turn off the offer because you think you can find a better offer. You just keep the offer running and just A/B test it. That's all it is. A/B testing it, finding what's working, you know, scale the shit out of that, and just keep iterating and testing different things. You have to keep testing offers. You have to keep testing angles. You have to keep testing things. Every aspect. What the fuck? Why is this thing running? Every aspect of the business. That's what it is, bro. Every aspect of the business needs to be tested, and that's something, again, that I didn't necessarily do in the beginning of my dropshipping, you know, career, whatever you want to call it. And that's kind of what I've been prioritizing as well. In, you know, the longer I do this shit, I realize, yo, testing shit is very, 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 very important. You have to test different aspects, and yeah, I can't stress that enough. So again, we're still in the testing phase with this business. We're trying to scale that one creative. Hopefully the performance holds. I can't say it will. I don't know, honestly. If I'm being honest with y'all, I don't know if it's gonna hold, but I pray it hopes. Obviously, I want to make fucking money. But yeah, that's kind of where we are at with that store. Again, final winning ad. We are looking to make some iterations off it, make some new ads. And another thing too as well that I guess I should hone in when it comes to creative testing that I forgot to mention is that you also have to kind of look at your creative tests as, you know, you want to be as successful as possible. Like, obviously we want to test a shit ton of creatives, but at the same time, especially if you're selling like a health product, supplements, or any other product that needs like better explanation, you kind of have to, you know, balance quality with quantity. You have to tell yourself, okay, I'm going to, you know, test 5 ads a week, but if it's not hitting a specific like KPI of the hit rate, so every ad you make, for every, I don't know, 100 ads you make, like 10%, 20%, and I don't know what this hit rate is, because I did something that I honestly just came across on a video last week and I still have to implement, but I just wanted to tell you guys this, if you guys want to implement it before me, is make sure that you track how well your ads perform. If you launch 10 ads, how many of those actually do well? Because you don't want to just blindly test ads and just spam 100 ads a week and none of them do well. You want to understand, okay, only 0.11111% of my ads do well. Let's stop the volume and let's focus on just being more intentful on the ads we're making. Because again, it doesn't do you no justice. You're spending more money, maybe paying an editor, spending more money or spending more time making these ads, and they're not even doing well, bro. You might as well just focus on, you know, 3 batches a week, 5 batches a week, and make sure these batches are fucking good. Like, my lips are so ashy, bro. Oh fuck. But like for this health store, full transparency, I only really launched like 3 creatives max a week. Like, I tried the statics. The statics don't necessarily hold up well. Like, yeah, you can make a lot of them, but in comparison to the VSLs, it's like, it's just not comparable right now. So I'm focusing on these VSLs, and these VSLs take like 4 hours, bro, to like craft up. Like, in terms of the script, you know, obviously we're trying to, again, I guess I could talk about a little bit more of the nitty gritty of, you know, creating the ads. Like, we are taking inspirations from winning VSLs, you know, and that's what I advise a lot of you guys to do if you're trying to make VSLs. Find a VSL that's working, even if it's not in your industry, cool. Understand the framework, throw the framework onto a Google Doc, or give it to ChatGPT, say, ChatGPT, yo, what's this framework? Understand the framework. If it's a hook, lead, discovery story, understand how this shit breaks down. Understand that shit. Throw it to a Google Doc, throw the framework on there, and start working from there. You know, ask ChatGPT, yo, what's working here? Feed it your customer data and work with ChatGPT. Don't take what ChatGPT is giving you as the best ads, because 9 times out of 10, the ads that ChatGPT gives you are probably going to be dog shit, and you're going to have to be able to understand, yo, this is not how the persona talks. The persona talks, and you're gonna have to understand how to edit that shit. But assuming you found a good script, the next step after that is you have to find the creatives. You have to put this stuff together. And that in itself might take a while if you're editing it yourself. Yo, editing a VSL, 4-minute VSL, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I've never done that shit in my life. The max I've done was 1 minute, and that shit takes like 1 to 2 hours if you don't have the proper clips. So imagine you are, you know, doing a 4-minute one. I have my editor doing, because bro, that's just gonna take so much of your time. But nevertheless, if you are doing it yourself, you have to then go find the B-roll clips. It's not that the editing part is hard, it's that you have to be able to find these type of clips that match the story well. Because again, if the story makes sense, the story is good, but the clips don't necessarily reflect what you're saying, you're probably not going to do well with the ad. That's just what it is. So again, there's so many different components of the ads. That's why for these VSLs, for me, I'm like, okay, do I want to fuck around and, you know, make 10 mediocre ads a week, or do I want to focus and make 3 to 5, you know, great ads that I know are most likely gonna get sales? Maybe they don't scale, but from that I can take learnings and, you know, get and use the feedback loop to understand why it's not working. And again, this whole thing, you probably hear this word a lot, or maybe this is the first time you hear it, but your creative feedback loop is important. And that's what I was talking about, and understanding why your ad is working. You have to understand why your ad is working, why it is losing. Look at every aspect of it. Why do you think it's working? Do you have a low hook rate? You know, is the hold rate so ass? Is it, you know, the persona, you're targeting the wrong people? You're getting a low click-through rate. Why is the ad underperforming? That's the, you know, whole idea behind it. You have to be able to gauge it from the metrics that you're seeing, and also make some hypothesis. Sometimes what you think the issue is isn't necessarily you know, the case. You might be wrong, but nevertheless though, you know, you still have to take the guess and, you know, try to come up with a solution to why the ad is not doing the best. So that's kind of, you know, how I've been approaching it lately. I'm trying to really just hone in on the intent piece of the creatives, because again, I've been in a position where I've spammed that shit. It doesn't necessarily do you any justice to spam your creatives. And yeah, that's kind of, again, that's where I'm at with the health store. Anyways, for the jewelry store, it's a bit different. Jewelry products, you don't need that much scripting behind it, so I can pump out like 5 a day, 10 a day. I try to keep it at a minimum of 5 a day right now, and once we, you know, pump a winner, then I'll likely obviously increase it. But again, it depends on your industry as well. But for the most part, if you're selling a product that needs more explanation, you're likely using VSLs, health products, you know, I don't know, supplement. I guess supplements could be a health product, but like stuff like that where again needs more explanation, I recommend you to really sit down and understand your customer. That's the most important thing. You spamming ads isn't going to make you rich. I'm gonna say that again. You spamming ads is not going to make you rich. It's the person that knows their consumer, whoever the best is, who is going to perform the best in the ad account. That's why you see these biggest brands always do the best. If you're in the health space, they know the customer in and out. They're doing research. They're actually doing surveys and doing, you know, in-depth research to understand, yo, who is this persona? What do they like? What do they do? What are their pain points? Why do they want this product? What do they fear? You know, and you have to understand all those type of shits, or all those type of things, if you want to do well. And that's kind of where I'm at every single week. You know, I'm finding a new doc that I'm building with the help of ChatGPT, of course, to understand who this persona is. And that's what's been helping me to, you know, do a lot better. And again, this touches back onto the point that if you cut your ads too soon, you never get to that point where you kind of slowly start to understand who your consumer is. If you don't do the proper research, obviously you're not going to perform well with your ad account, especially with a health product. And if you're in a situation like that, a lot of people dip after a week of testing a product. But bro, if you launch a product and within the week, the first week, it is break even, you're honestly in a good spot, because you're not making money, which is, you know, we want to make money, but you're not losing money either. So that's telling you, yo, something is potentially here, and you validated the product. So you know for a fact this product is selling. If it's an evergreen product as well, that's a bonus. And you know it's selling. Why not just spend, you know, a bit longer testing this shit, bro? Maybe if you go like a rack in the green, in the red, fuck it, turn it off, fine, I believe you. You tested it enough. You tested enough creatives, hopefully, enough angles or whatever. But you spend $500, you lost $50, and you're telling me, yo, I'm done with this test? Nigga, give it a better test, bro. What are you doing? Like, me personally, I don't like testing hella products. That's me, personally. A lot of people, they like testing different products, and they like that little, you know, rag, that I don't know, those trenches. But I don't like the trenches when it comes to building businesses. I like the consistency, and I like to be able to be in a position where we're building this shit week over week, year over year. And I know tomorrow, you know, we're going to make X amount of dollars, even if we're in a bad period of time. Like this, the jewelry store, we're in a bad time right now, but I know for a fact we're gonna make a couple sales every single day. It might not be profitable, but nevertheless, I know for a fact we're gonna make sales. I know we're gonna make sales. You know, I know it. I don't want to be in a position where I'm zero money, no money's coming in, and I'm just, you know, every day product research. Like, I don't want to be in that position. Obviously, I like to test new products and stuff like that, but I don't like to be, again, in the position to rely on new tests. I want to build these brands, and to be able to build these brands, you have to be able to stick through products for a longer period of time. You know, and obviously, again, you don't want to waste money and be stuck on a product either. You have to understand when it makes sense to stay on a product. Like, I've tested products, and you've probably seen it on the series if you've been watching it for long enough. I tested like 3 products. Yo, I just said it's not worth it. You know, I'm not seeing the progress that I need. With this product, I've been seeing, you know, little wins here and there, big losses as well. But we are seeing, you know, bigger wins. Or no, I lied. We're not seeing bigger wins or losses, but we are seeing potential, and we know this product is validated. So why not give it a try? Nobody in the market is really trying to push the product hard. Maybe there's a reason for that, and we're gonna find out. But for now, we know that there's one big competitor. He's the big dog right now. Why can't we just be there? Why can't we catch a piece of the market share? You know, we can do it. I promise you can do it. And if I deem that we can't, then fuck it, I'll turn off the product. But until then, I'm gonna give it a good test, and that's what you have to do. Give this shit a good test, bro. That's what I recommend to a lot of y'all. Give your shit a good test, and I promise you, you won't regret it. Give it a good test. You know, that's kind of what I got for y'all today for the health store, for the jewelry store. You know, same shit. We talked about it a lot this week. We're still testing creative, so I'm not going to talk crazy about it. I'm just, you know, about to park my car in like 2 minutes or so, show you guys where to check and let you guys go about your day. But really though, guys, you have to look at this shit again as a business. I like to say this a lot, but really understand that you're building a business, bro. You're building a business, you know, think like a business owner. Don't think like a dropshipper all the time. Thinking like a dropshipper is good because we like to move fast, but in terms of, you know, sometimes the longevity thinking of the business, we don't necessarily have that, which kind of contradicts itself in a way, but that's just what it is. You know, I think like that as well, but we have to move away from it and understand that we should be trying to build brands. And as well too, some people sometimes say, yo, I have no motivation. And I want to touch base on that for anyone that's probably watching this and has no motivation, and you start the dropshipping store and sometimes you're like, damn, I'm not motivated, I'm not seeing success. Bro, if you're not motivated, really think about the reason why you're doing this shit. Like, think about the deeper reason why you are, you know, doing dropshipping, trading, or whatever you want to do. Understand the deeper reason. For me personally, I'm not gonna lie, the deeper reason is obviously we don't want to be poor. Like, that's the bottom line truth. Like, we can go get a job, obviously, and make money. Like, that's like a surface level answer. But deeper than that though, like, really think about it. Me personally, I'm in a position where, you know, my parents came from Haiti, bro. They came from Haiti, and they were able to give me a life where, you know, I've been able to come to Canada, and, you know, I'm fortunate enough to go to school, be able to live the life that I live. We've been, you know, we're not the richest, but we're definitely not poor, but, you know, middle class life, and I'm thankful for my parents to giving me this opportunity to be here. And why would I waste it and I'll try to get rich? I might as well. Like, if my parents can go from being in Haiti, which, you know, my dad's always telling me stories of how hard it was for him to go to Haiti to come to Canada. That's a big win, bro. So in my like thinking, going from middle class to rich, honestly, is low-key should be easier than going from Haiti to becoming middle class, in my opinion. So why not? And I don't know if that analogy makes sense. I don't know if that is true, but that's my thinking anyways. Like, we have more opportunities here in Canada to be able to, you know, make shit happen. So it's like, why can't I not make it happen? Why can't I? You know, I might as well try. I might as well. If I fail, cool. I fucking fail. Fine. But I want to know that I gave it my all. I'm in my 20s, bro. There's no reason why I'm not giving this shit a try. No reason. Just because I'm scared of what people think. Just because, you know, I don't want to fail. Fuck it. If we fail, fuck it. We fail, then we're gonna ball, bro. We gonna figure it out anyways. Like, that's all it is. We will figure it out. So why be scared? Why be scared? I promise you, if you do it long enough, you'll figure it out. That's all it is. Do it long enough, you'll figure it out. I promise you will. So why not just stick to it and do your thing? Yeah, enough of that, you know, little whatever. If you're serious about dropshipping, tap in the Telegram. I mean the Discord. It's really free. And, you know, we can keep each other accountable. That's the biggest thing as well. Having like-minded individuals that you can talk to when shit's going bad. Like that's kind of like what helps me to like keep me sane, and that's why I'm not phased on down periods, because I have my homies that, you know, they've been in the trenches with me. We've been, you know, building shit together, or they're building shit as well, but their own shit, but they understand the journey. They understand the struggles. They understand what it is, and you know, we can talk about it, and we can be like, yo, this should be hard as fuck sometimes, but when we're winning, we're both winning, or if one losing, one winning, we can, you know, motivate each other and just keep us accountable. And it's just inspirational to see your homie doing well. That's all. Like, imagine seeing your homie, all your homies, you guys are all winning, y'all all have $1 million in your bank account. I'm not saying I have $1 million right now, because I don't. I'm saying, imagine that for yourselves. All your homies have nice cars, all your homies have $1 million. Let's say you're doing bad, your homie can be like, yo, try this, or your homie can be like, yo, you're tripping. You're tripping, gang. Think about this. Think about what you did. You're good at this, da-da-da. And you can just bounce ideas off each other. And that's why we have this Discord. Tap in the Discord, bro. Tap in that bitch. You know? I'm not trying to, you know, make you to pay for anything. It's literally free, so tap in. Why not? Worst thing you can do is just not like the Discord, just leave, bro. Anyways, enough of that yap. I'm gonna let y'all go. I think this video's been long enough. But this is the store results for today. Not bad, honestly. Yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was a shit day though. We lost $50. Today on the first store. Why do I keep saying first store? This is the health store, the second store. Yesterday we were actually profitable. We made like $15 profit. Not the best, obviously, but you know, it's better than there was weeks on this with the store that we were. Some days we were like in the green, like 100, bro. But I mean the red. I don't know why I keep mixing those up. But anyways, yeah, this is gonna be the end of the video. I appreciate you guys for sticking through the end of this video with your boy. Yeah, tap in the Discord. Again, if you're serious about ecom, tap in, man. Just tap in, come fuck with me. At me, be like, yo, Dwitch, I'm here. Yo, Dwitch, I'm ready to take action or whatever. I'm be like, yo, what up, my dog? Anyways, I'm yapping. Appreciate y'all for watching this video. And Sunday or Saturday, we're probably gonna have a call. And yeah, appreciate you guys. Catch y'all in the next video. And peace.